Okay, so we've seen how I might get a very basic kick and hat thing going on with snare, like super entry-level stuff. I forgot to mention that we can obviously switch between For the Floor and Broken Beat that way, which is really fun. Yeah, so what I might do next is bring a sample in. So Bitbox Micro, I'm going to load a preset. So this I know is a drum break of some kind, and I've sliced it. And over here on the T1, I'll select the correct track, which is this track, and then do something like this and see what happens. So I find like I get very interesting, fun grooves this way. I know for sure that whatever the current tempo is, it's 120, is not what this was at when I made it initially. But it doesn't really matter. You can just kind of change the pitch of it, and obviously it plays faster. So that's just kind of ridiculous, but maybe that could work if you want to do something really like slinky, skanky. But otherwise, you could play it more straight like that. So that's a fairly effective trick to just build a compelling groove. So out from the sampler we go into the filter, and we're mainly hearing the low pass filter. So up here the crossfader is allowing me to mix between the low pass filter output of QPass and the output of panharmonium, which basically sings what you put into it back at you. So I'm going to put this in the middle so we have equal amounts of dry signal and panharmonium, and then you can sort of hear it's shimmering. So you can make really amazing droopy risers and down, risers and falling sounds and all sorts of stuff. You can get pretty mental. And so I like to bring the kick out and then throw this back. Oops. So, and this is a really big paddle, it's a big thing, and it's easy to get your fingers on, and the cables aren't in the way. This is very important so that you can move quickly and make decisions fast. So yeah, and then the output of both of these feeds, the output of this mixes to the effect, which in this case is a mimeophone, which can do all sorts of fun, interesting things. So I'm currently modulating the delay rate, which has a very high number of repeats, low color, so it's low pass filtered, and I'm sending it the same LFO or combination of LFO. Earlier we had the LFO output plus the Chaos output added together. So this is also going up here to this one. So you got a kind of a cohesion that way. So yeah. Obviously weird nonsense. This is not exactly good music for people who are going to complain at me for not putting a melody in or whatever. I'm just showing some stuff, some methods. We can get melodic, of course. Speaking of which, let's do that. Well, okay, actually one other thing I should show is what I do a lot is I put OP1 into drum mode, and I choose probably kit number 5 because that's my favorite one, and I go to the arpeggiator, the sequencer, and I'm using the arpeggiator and sequencer, And now I have shakers, and it's a little too swung. So this is another real like groove machine. So I do that a lot. But yeah, let's just take that out. And then look at how we might introduce something melodic, I guess. Because this sampler could equally play some kind of melodic tone rather than a drum beat. So maybe let's just do that instead. So we're going to go home, change to a different kit. Like, let's see. Let's go to the synths. The synths one. So this one is actually a granular mode. So we're going to go into the controls for that. And maybe we'll go back and choose a different part. And let's make the sustain. There we go. So maybe I might try and like find something melodic this way. So now I've got like a tone, a perceived pitch, and then I could maybe put the kick drum in and see if I could tune it. So yeah, tune the kick to whatever seems like the predominant tonic. So now that I've done that, maybe I could bring in a different instrument. So if I go to T1 and go to the this track, this is controlling the bass voice on Pulsar. So I could just do a simple. You can hear that's not in the right key. Just turn the pitch knob. That's why I love this sequencer. It's very fast to create fun grooves. So add a bit of accent and timing. So that's swing and velocity accenting. Okay, so maybe now we'll go to the Nord drum. So here's a trick I love doing all the time. I'm going to select all 6 of the Nord drum tracks. And then over on the Nord drum itself, I'm just going to go to like an empty kit at the very end. So I just went to like the very last kit. I know it's like a basic kit that I don't care about. I'll just go to this one. I think I might have saved that. So edit all channels, and then I'll put the scale mode onto one of the harmonic scales, right? So this is basically transposing all of these pads to make a chord. And then over on T1, we just put a chord in, and we can hear that it's not on the right key, but if we turn it up a couple of semitones, that sounds good. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere melodically. So this is how I might build things if I wanted to go in a more melodic direction. And then maybe we could go to cycles. And so now we've gone into the third and fourth bar. I want to change this to something different. Doesn't really work. Well, it's something. Actually, that's pretty cool. Cool. All right, I'm okay with that. And then we can do more interesting things like use the voicing and repeats. Back over on Nord drum, select all the editing all the channels simultaneously. It's a polysynth now, rather than the individual drum voices. It's a polysynth. So I go to decay on the tone, and then we can shorten things and turn up the velocity sensitivity of the decay, so that over on T1, if we start like introducing more velocity variation by using accent, and maybe more so yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here